Canadian Citizenship Practice Exams. Subject: Canada and its people. Module: Canada's regions. Chapter: Set 1. 85% Inuit live in which province or territory? A. Nunavut. B. Yukon. C. Northwest Territory. D. Manitoba. The answer is A. Nunavut. The population of Nunavut is about 85% Inuit, and Inuktitut is an official language and the first language in schools. What are the 5 Great Lakes? A. Erie, Huron, Ontario, Niagara, Michigan. B. Erie, Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Superior. C. Erie, Huron, Ontario, Simcoe, Superior. D. Erie, Huron, Ontario, Niagara, Simcoe. The answer is B. Erie, Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Superior. There are 5 Great Lakes located between Ontario and the United States. Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, in the USA, and Lake Superior, the largest freshwater lake in the world. What are the main groups of Aboriginal people? A. Métis, French, and British. B. Métis, Inuit, First Nations. C. Métis, French, Acadians. D. Métis, First Nations, Acadians. The answer is B. Métis, Inuit, First Nations. The Aboriginal peoples were the first people to live in Canada. The 3 main groups are the First Nations, the Inuit, and the Métis. What are the Prairie Provinces? A. Ontario, British Columbia, Alberta. B. Manitoba, Alberta, Ontario. C. Manitoba, Saskatchewan, British Columbia. D. Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta. The answer is D. Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta. Manitoba, Saskatchewan and Alberta are the Prairie Provinces, rich in energy resources and some of the most fertile farmland in the world. How many provinces does Canada have? A. 13. B. 10. C. 3. D. 5. The answer is B. 10. In which region do more than half the people in Canada live? A. Central Canada. B. Prairies. C. Atlantic Canada. D. Northern Canada. The answer is A. Central Canada. Name the 5 regions of Canada. A. Midwest, North, South, East, Central. B. Maritimes, Ontario, Quebec, Prairies, and British Columbia. C. Atlantic, Central, Prairie, West Coast, and North. D. West, Central, East, Prairies, and Territories. The answer is C. Atlantic, Central, Prairie, West Coast, and North. Name 2 responsibilities of the provincial and territorial government. A. Citizenship and foreign policy. B. Health and education. C. Defense and currency. D. Criminal law and interprovincial trade. The answer is B. Health and education. On what date did Nunavut become a territory? A. July 1, 1867. B. April 1, 1999. C. June 24, 1995. D. March 31, 1949. The answer is B. April 1, 1999. 1/3 of all Canadians live in which province? A. Quebec. B. Ontario. C. Northwest Territories. D. Manitoba. The answer is B. Ontario. What are the Prairie Provinces and their capital cities? A. Alberta, Edmonton, and Saskatchewan, Regina. B. Alberta, Edmonton, Saskatchewan, Regina, and Manitoba, Winnipeg. C. Saskatchewan, Regina, and Manitoba, Winnipeg. D. Saskatchewan, Regina, Manitoba, Winnipeg, and Ontario, Toronto. The answer is B. Alberta, Edmonton, Saskatchewan, Regina, and Manitoba, Winnipeg. What are the provinces of Central Canada and their capital cities? A. Manitoba, Winnipeg, and Ontario, Toronto. B. Quebec, Quebec City, and Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown. C. Ontario, Toronto, and Quebec, Quebec City. D. Saskatchewan, Regina, and Manitoba, Winnipeg. The answer is C. Ontario, Toronto, and Quebec, Quebec City. What are the provinces of the Atlantic region and their capital cities? A. Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, Fredericton, Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown, and Quebec, Quebec. B. Newfoundland and Labrador, St. John's, Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, Fredericton, and Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown. C. Newfoundland and Labrador, St. John's, Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, Fredericton, and Quebec, Quebec. D. Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, Fredericton, Quebec, Quebec City and Ontario, Toronto. The answer is B. Newfoundland and Labrador, St. John's, Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, Fredericton, and Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown. What are the territories of northern Canada and their capital cities? A. Alaska, Juneau, and Yukon Territory, Whitehorse. B. Northwest Territories, Yellowknife, and Alaska, Juneau. C. Northwest Territories, Yellowknife. D. Yukon Territory, Whitehorse, Northwest Territories, Yellowknife, and Nunavut, Iqaluit. The answer is D. Yukon Territory, Whitehorse, Northwest Territories, Yellowknife, and Nunavut, Iqaluit. Where are the Great Lakes? A. Between Ontario and the United States. B. Manitoba. C. Northern Quebec. D. Atlantic Canada. The answer is A. Between Ontario and the United States. Where do most French-speaking Canadians live? A. Ontario. B. Nova Scotia. C. Quebec. D. Prince Edward Island. The answer is C. Quebec. Which country borders Canada on the south? A. United States of America. B. Central America. C. Mexico. D. Washington. The answer is A. United States of America. Which province has its own time zone? A. British Columbia. B. Newfoundland and Labrador. C. Nunavut. D. Nova Scotia. The answer is B. Newfoundland and Labrador. Which province in Canada is the smallest in land size? A. Nova Scotia. B. Prince Edward Island. C. Yukon Territory. D. Newfoundland and Labrador. The answer is B. Prince Edward Island. Which province is the main producer of pulp and paper and hydroelectricity? A. Quebec. B. Ontario. C. British Columbia. D. Manitoba. The answer is A. Quebec. Which province is the only officially bilingual province? A. New Brunswick. B. Quebec. C. Ontario. D. Prince Edward Island. The answer is A. New Brunswick. Which province was split into two at Confederation? A. Lower Canada. B. Newfoundland. C. Upper Canada. D. The Province of Canada. The answer is D. The Province of Canada. Which province was first to grant voting rights to women? A. Quebec. B. Ontario. C. Nova Scotia. D. Manitoba. The answer is D. Manitoba. Which provincial flag features the fleur-de-lis? A. Quebec. B. New Brunswick. C. Manitoba. D. Ontario. The answer is A. Quebec. Which region covers more than one-third of Canada? A. Central Canada. B. Prairies. C. Atlantic Canada. D. Northern Territories. The answer is D. Northern Territories. Which region is known as the industrial and manufacturing heartland of Canada? A. Atlantic Provinces. B. Prairie Provinces. C. Central Canada. D. West Coast. The answer is C. Central Canada. Which region of Canada is known for both its fertile agricultural land and valuable energy resources? A. British Columbia. B. Prairie Provinces. C. Ontario. D. Manitoba. The answer is B. Prairie Provinces. Which three countries are signatories to NAFTA? A. Canada, the United Kingdom and the United States. B. Canada, the United States and Japan. C. Canada, Mexico and the United States. D. Canada, Denmark, and Andorra. The answer is C. Canada, Mexico and the United States. Which was the last province to join Canada? A. Newfoundland. B. Alberta. C. Saskatchewan. D. British Columbia. The answer is A. Newfoundland. What is the capital of Nova Scotia? A. Charlottetown. B. Halifax. C. Winnipeg. D. Whitehorse. The answer is B. Halifax. In what year was Nunavut established? A. 2009. B. 1979. C. 1989. D. 1999. The answer is D. 1999. Name the capital of Newfoundland and Labrador. A. Regina. B. Winnipeg. C. Edmonton. D. St. John's. The answer is D. St. John's. The population of Nunavut is how much? Inuit? A. 85%. B. 65%. C. 95%. D. 75%. The answer is A. 85%. What percentage of Canada's population lives around the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River? A. 75% plus. B. 50% plus. C. 25% plus. D. 10% plus. The answer is B. 50% plus. Between them, Ontario and Quebec produce what percentage of Canadian manufactured goods? A. 75%. B. 50%. C. 25%. D. 15%. The answer is A. 75%. What is the capital of Yukon Territory? A. Yellowknife. B. Whitehorse. C. St. John's. D. Fredericton. The answer is B. Whitehorse. Which Canadian province produces more oil and gas than any other in Canada? A. British Columbia. B. Alberta. C. Manitoba. D. Saskatchewan. The answer is B. Alberta. What is the capital of British Columbia? A. Winnipeg. B. Halifax. C. Victoria. D. Yellowknife. The answer is C. Victoria. What is the capital of Prince Edward Island? A. Halifax. B. Fredericton. C. Yellowknife. D. Charlottetown. The answer is D. Charlottetown. Geographically, Canada is split into how many distinct regions? A. 5. B. 6. C. 4. D. 3. The answer is A. 5. The highest tides in the world rise in which Canadian province? A. Nova Scotia. B. British Columbia. C. Prince Edward Island. D. Newfoundland and Labrador. The answer is A. Nova Scotia. What is the capital of New Brunswick? A. Charlottetown. B. Whitehorse. C. Fredericton. D. St. John's. The answer is C. Fredericton. New Brunswick is situated in which mountain range? A. The Pacific Cordillera. B. The Laurentians. C. The Rockies. D. The Appalachians. The answer is D. The Appalachians. What is the capital of Manitoba? A. Regina. B. Edmonton. C. Victoria. D. Winnipeg. The answer is D. Winnipeg. The population of Quebec is nearly A. 9 million. B. 6 million. C. 8 million. D. 7 million. The answer is C. 8 million. What is the capital of Ontario? A. Toronto. B. Winnipeg. C. Victoria. D. Edmonton. The answer is A. Toronto. In terms of land mass, where does Canada rank amongst the countries of the world? A. 4th. B. 3rd. C. 2nd. D. 1st. The answer is C. 2nd. Mount Logan, the highest mountain in Canada, is in what province or territory? A. Nunavut. B. Northwest Territories. C. Yukon. D. British Columbia. The answer is C. Yukon. Which of these provinces was the oldest colony of the British Empire? A. Prince Edward Island. B. Newfoundland and Labrador. C. Nova Scotia. D. New Brunswick. The answer is B. Newfoundland and Labrador. Prince Edward Island is most famous, in terms of its agriculture, for the production of what? A. Cabbages. B. Onions. C. Carrots. D. Potatoes. The answer is D. Potatoes. Which provincial capital has Canada's largest naval base? A. Halifax. B. Charlottetown. C. Fredericton. D. Victoria. The answer is A. Halifax. The largest port in Canada is in which province? A. British Columbia. B. Newfoundland and Labrador. C. Nova Scotia. D. Yukon Territory. The answer is A. British Columbia. What is the size of Canada's population? A. 54 million. B. 44 million. C. 34 million. D. 24 million. The answer is C. 34 million. What is the capital of Quebec? A. Toronto. B. Edmonton. C. Victoria. D. Quebec City. The answer is D. Quebec City. In the summertime in the Northern Territories, how long can daylight last? A. 24 hours. B. 18 hours. C. 20 hours. D. 22 hours. The answer is A. 24 hours. What is the capital of Alberta? A. Edmonton. B. Winnipeg. C. Victoria. D. Fredericton. The answer is A. Edmonton. What is the capital of Northwest Territories? A. Winnipeg. B. Yellowknife. C. Charlottetown. D. Whitehorse. The answer is B. Yellowknife. Roughly how big is Canada? A. 10 million square kilometers. B. 5 million square kilometers. C. 7,500,000 square kilometers. D. 15 million square kilometers. The answer is A. 10 million square kilometers. Which province, with 40% of the arable land in Canada, was once known as the breadbasket of the world? A. British Columbia. B. Manitoba. C. Saskatchewan. D. Alberta. The answer is C. Saskatchewan. What is the capital of Saskatchewan? A. Regina. B. Toronto. C. St. John's. D. Edmonton. The answer is A. Regina. What proportion of the population of New Brunswick has French as their first language? A. 1/4. B. 1/3. C. 1/2. D. 1/10. The answer is B. 1/3. After Paris, the second largest mainly French-speaking city in the world is A. Ottawa. B. Quebec City. C. Toronto. D. Montreal. The answer is D. Montreal. What is the capital of Nunavut? A. Iqaluit. B. Yellowknife. C. Toronto. D. Whitehorse. The answer is A. Iqaluit. Ontario contains more than what proportion of Canadian citizens? A. 1/4. B. 1/2. C. 3/4. D. 1/3. The answer is D. 1/3. Which province has the largest Aboriginal population in Canada? A. Alberta. B. Manitoba. C. British Columbia. D. Saskatchewan. The answer is B. Manitoba. Which is the largest city in Canada? A. Ontario. B. Toronto. C. Ottawa. D. Montreal. The answer is B. Toronto. Which of the 5 Great Lakes is the only one that isn't at least partly in Canada? A. Lake Erie. B. Lake Superior. C. Lake Huron. D. Lake Michigan. The answer is D. Lake Michigan. What percentage of the population of Northwest Territories is Aboriginal? A 50% plus. B 25% plus. C 40% plus. D 75% plus. The answer is, a 50% plus. Canada's regions are divided into A. North, West, South, East, Central. B. Rockies, Prairies, North, South. C. Atlantic, Prairies, North, Central, West Coast. D. West Coast, East Coast, South, North. The answer is, C. Atlantic, Prairies, North, Central, West Coast. Canada includes many different geographical areas and 5 distinct regions. The Atlantic Provinces, Central Canada, the Prairie Provinces, the West Coast, the Northern Territories. How many provinces and territories are in Canada? A. 10 provinces and 2 territories. B. 9 provinces and 2 territories. C. 9 provinces and 3 territories. D. 10 provinces and 3 territories. The answer is, D. 10 provinces and 3 territories. Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories. Each province and territory has its own capital city. In what parts of Canada did the Aboriginal peoples first settle? A. The North and the Great Lakes regions. B. The Great Lakes regions and the South. C. All regions. D. The Prairies in the South. The answer is, C. All regions. The ancestors of Aboriginal peoples are believed to have migrated from Asia many thousands of years ago. They first settled all over Canada. Newfoundland is closest to which ocean? A. Atlantic. B. Pacific. C. Arctic. D. Hudson's Bay. The answer is, A. Atlantic. Newfoundland is on the east coast of Canada, closest to the Atlantic Ocean. Nunavut became a territory on A. March 5, 1999. B. April 1, 1999. C. May 2, 1999. D. November 15, 1999. The answer is, B. April 1, 1999. Nunavut, meaning our land in Inuktitut, was established in 1999 from the eastern part of the Northwest Territories, including all of the former district of Keewatin. Over 1/3 of Canada is covered by which region? A. Central Canada. B. Prairie Provinces. C. Canadian Shield. D. Northern Canada. The answer is, D. Northern Canada. The northern region covers over 1/3 of Canada. The founding peoples of Canada are A. Aboriginal, French, British. B. French, British. C. Aboriginal, Chinese. D. German, French, British. The answer is, A. Aboriginal, French, British. The 3 founding peoples of Canada are Aboriginal, French, and British. The Great Lakes are important because they provide A. Fishing and ice skating. B. Freshwater and waterways. C. Waterways. D. Water for farming. The answer is, B. Freshwater and waterways. The Great Lakes are important because they contain 20% of the world's freshwater and act as vital waterways. The majority of Métis live in A. Northern Territories. B. The East Coast. C. Central Canada. D. Prairie Provinces. The answer is, D. Prairie Provinces. The Métis are a distinct people of mixed Aboriginal and European ancestry, the majority of whom live in the Prairie Provinces. The provinces of Centre Canada are A. Ontario and Manitoba. B. Manitoba and Alberta. C. Ontario and Quebec. D. Alberta and Saskatchewan. The answer is, C. Ontario and Quebec. More than half the people in Canada live in cities and towns near the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River in southern Quebec and Ontario, known as Central Canada and the industrial and manufacturing heartland. What are Canada's northern territories? A. Nunavut and Northwest Territories. B. Yukon and Alaska. C. Yukon, Alaska, and Nunavut. D. Yukon, Nunavut, and Northwest Territories. The answer is, D. Yukon, Nunavut, and Northwest Territories. The 3 northern territories, which have small populations, are Yukon, Nunavut, and Northwest Territories. What are the Atlantic Region provinces? A. Newfoundland and Labrador. Ontario, Quebec. B. Alberta, Manitoba, Ontario, Nova Scotia. C. Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island. D. Nova Scotia, Manitoba, Ontario, British Columbia. The answer is C. Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island. Atlantic Canada's coasts and natural resources, including fishing, farming, forestry and mining. Canada's Atlantic region provinces include Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island. What part of Canada is known as the Land of the Midnight Sun? A. Yukon. B. The Northern Territories. C. Northwest Territories. D. Nunavut. The answer is B. The Northern Territories. The North is often referred to as the Land of the Midnight Sun because at the height of summer, daylight can last up to 24 hours. What was the name of the new country established in Confederation? A. Canada of Britain. B. Canada. C. Dominion of Canada. D. Canada. The answer is C. Dominion of Canada. The British Parliament passed the British North America Act in 1867. The Dominion of Canada was officially born on July 1, 1867. When did Nunavut become a territory? A. 1999. B. 2000. C. 2001. D. 2001. The answer is A. 1999. Nunavut, meaning our land in Inuktitut, was established in 1999 from the eastern part of the Northwest Territories, including all of the former District of Keewatin. Where are the Great Lakes located? A. Along the border between Canada and the United States and southern Ontario. B. Along the Atlantic Provinces. C. In Ontario. D. In Quebec. The answer is A. Along the border between Canada and the United States and southern Ontario. There are 5 Great Lakes located between Ontario and the United States. Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, in the USA, and Lake Superior, the largest freshwater lake in the world. Where is the capital of Canada? A. Ottawa. B. Toronto. C. Winnipeg. D. Vancouver. The answer is A. Ottawa. The capital of Canada is Ottawa. Which 4 provinces first formed Confederation? A. Ontario, Manitoba, Quebec, and British Columbia. B. Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. C. Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, Newfoundland. D. Ontario, Manitoba, Alberta, Quebec. The answer is B. Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. Back in 1867 when Canada first became a country it had only 4 provinces: New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Ontario, and Quebec. After the first 4 provinces joined together to form Canada, it took 132 years before all the provinces and territories officially joined Canada. Which is Canada's smallest province? A. Nova Scotia. B. Manitoba. C. Prince Edward Island. D. New Brunswick. The answer is C. Prince Edward Island. Prince Edward Island, PEI, is the smallest province, known for its beaches, red soil and agriculture, especially potatoes. Which of the following are on the Atlantic coast of Canada? A. Ontario and Manitoba. B. British Columbia and Alberta. C. Prince Edward Island and Quebec. D. New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. The answer is D. New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. New Brunswick and Nova Scotia are on the Atlantic coast of Canada. Which of the following are part of the 5 Great Lakes of Canada? A. Ontario and Simcoe. B. Simcoe and Huron. C. Huron and Erie. D. Michigan and Erie. The answer is C. Huron and Erie. There are 5 Great Lakes located between Ontario and the United States: Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, in the USA, and Lake Superior, the largest freshwater lake in the world. Which of the following provinces is on the Pacific coast of Canada? A. British Columbia. B. Ontario. C. Newfoundland. D. Prince Edward Island. The answer is A. British Columbia. British Columbia lies on the Pacific, west, coast of Canada. Which province has the most bilingual, French and English-speaking, Canadians? A. Ontario. B. Manitoba. C. Quebec. D. Yukon. The answer is C. Quebec. Although New Brunswick is the only officially bilingual province, Quebec has the most bilingual Canadians. Which province is an official bilingual province? A. New Brunswick. B. Ontario. C. Quebec. D. Alberta. The answer is A. New Brunswick. While the majority of Francophones live in the province of Quebec, New Brunswick is the only officially bilingual province. Which province is known as Canada's Pacific Gateway? A. British Columbia. B. Ontario. C. Yukon. D. Quebec. The answer is A. British Columbia. British Columbia is known for its majestic mountains and as Canada's Pacific Gateway. The Port of Vancouver, Canada's largest and busiest, handles billions of dollars in goods traded around the world. Which province is the land of 100,000 lakes? A. Ontario. B. British Columbia. C. Alberta. D. Manitoba. The answer is D. Manitoba. Manitoba is one of the 3 Prairie Provinces and is located in the center of Canada. Manitoba is known as the land of 100,000 lakes. Which province is the last one to join Canada? A. Manitoba. B. Ontario. C. Newfoundland. D. Yukon. The answer is C. Newfoundland. Following Canada's participation in World War II, in a 1948 referendum, a narrow majority of Newfoundland citizens voted to join the Confederation, and on March 31, 1949, Newfoundland became Canada's 10th province. Which region is the industrial and manufacturing heartland of Canada? A. The Northern Territories. B. Southern Canada. C. Prairie Provinces. D. Central Canada. The answer is D. Central Canada. More than half the people in Canada live in cities and towns near the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River in southern Quebec and Ontario, known as Central Canada and the industrial and manufacturing heartland. Which region of Canada has the most fertile agricultural land and energy resources? A. Prairie Provinces. B. The East Coast. C. The North. D. Central. The answer is A. Prairie Provinces. Manitoba, Saskatchewan and Alberta are the Prairie Provinces, rich in energy resources and some of the most fertile farmland in the world. Which territory shares a border with the United States of America? A. Yukon. B. Northwest Territory. C. Nunavut. D. Pei. The answer is A. Yukon. Yukon shares a border with Alaska of the United States of America. Which 2 provinces are connected to Ontario by land? A. Manitoba and Quebec. B. Manitoba and Saskatchewan. C. Manitoba and British Columbia. D. Prince Edward Island and Yukon. The answer is A. Manitoba and Quebec. Manitoba and Quebec are connected to Ontario by land. If you move from east to west, then you will start from which province? A. Newfoundland and Labrador. B. Pei. C. Nova Scotia. D. New Brunswick. The answer is A. Newfoundland and Labrador. If you move from east to west, you will start from Newfoundland and Labrador on the east coast of Canada. 85% Inuit live in which province or territory? A. Nunavut. B. Yukon. C. Northwest Territory. D. Manitoba. The answer is A. Nunavut. The population of Nunavut is about 85% Inuit, and Inuktitut is an official language and the first language in schools. What are the provinces of the Atlantic region and their capital cities? A. Newfoundland and Labrador, St. John's, Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, Fredericton, and Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown. B. Quebec, St. John's, Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, Fredericton, and Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown. C. Newfoundland and Labrador, St. John's, Nova Scotia, Halifax, Ontario, Toronto, and Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown. D. Newfoundland and Labrador, St. John's, Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, Fredericton, and Quebec, Montreal. The answer is A. Newfoundland and Labrador, St. John's, Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, Fredericton, and Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown. The provinces of the Atlantic region and their capital cities are Newfoundland and Labrador, St. John's, Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, Fredericton, and Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown, and check out the free mobile app. Links provided in the descriptions with all the above questions on Canadian citizenship exam and more. 550+ practice exam questions and answers with explanation and 750+ notes segregated into main topics, chapters and modules to help with preparation and ace Canadian citizenship exam. Also check out description for the relevant books to download and reference.